Hello everyone. It's me, Chef Commander Coffee, and I'm here with my day 3 of the Humankind release week. Tip, thought of the day, I suppose. Just having a little chat about the game and how it went. So I finished a run on stream, took 6 hours, give or take my usual tea breaks. This is played on a large map with 8 players, myself plus 7 competitors, as you can see here. I've called this game to an end because, well, basically it's over. I mean, it's technically not, but it basically is. The only other surviving nations are these guys down here, which I could advance to the industrial era, get the tech for siege artillery, and then just blow up the city defenses and then invade, which wouldn't take very long at all. And this guy has managed to make it to the New World, but it would be a case of just shipping some troops over, building some outposts, and then just like destroying them, because I've already conquered all their other cities, and our armies are pretty good. So this run's basically over. It's turn 159. I have 11.8k fame. And that's basically that. Yeah, that's the end of the run. This is played on Humankind difficulty, as I've said many times before. It's the only difficulty I will be playing on, unless there's some sort of weird challenge I'm doing. But yeah, Humankind difficulty, almost 12,000 fame, 160 turns, pretty good, pretty good. It's on standard speed, so it's a 300 turn limit. And yeah, it went really nicely. Very, very nicely. So the tip/thought I have for the day is what happens when you get this big, or rather when you're expanding this quickly. And I actually picked the Achaemenid Persians, so we got +2 city cap. Well, when you're 10 cities over the cap, we're actually losing 11,000 influence from being over the cap. Which means we can no longer change any of our civics. And the tip/thought I have for the day is, if you're planning on playing wide, right? If you're playing tall and you're going to stay under the city limit all the time, then fair enough. But if you're playing wide, you have to take this civic here. You've got to take inherited land, right? Because this allows you to claim, attach, and merge territories with money instead of influence. And money is, of course, not affected by being over the city cap, yeah? So I could solve my influence issue if I had gold, and I had that civic. So if you're planning on playing wide, you need to get the land rights, and you've got to go for inherited land. If you're playing tall, communal land is a lot better because it gives 10 extra food per number of attached territories on all cities. So if you have, say I owned this entire continent, but I only had, like, say I absorbed these territories together, I absorbed these together, I absorbed these two together, maybe this corner and, like, up here. Say I had, like, 5 or 6 cities, I would have plus 200, 300, 400 food in all of my cities. It'd be insane, right? I'll get a huge amount of food coming in from that. Currently, I'm only getting, where is it? 30 from the civic, yeah? From the capital, or from Nasa. If I go to Sus, Sus is not getting any, it's getting 10 from the civic, you know, so it's like very small numbers. But I could be getting like plus 50 extra food or more in all of my cities if I merge them all up. So that's just a little comment between tall and wide. I personally love warfare, so I tend to play fairly wide in most 4Xs. So you might see a trend with that. For those people that are wondering if warfare is viable on the highest level difficulty, well, this should answer your question. I've conquered the entire continent. As I said, this was a random map, large size. I set it to 2 to 4 continents with New World, and it spawned just one continent, so all the AI were on this map. So it was very, very packed together, like my first run that I completed on day 2 of the release week. And so it's very packed together, lots of war, lots of AI fighting each other, and lots of AI fighting me. I got dowed by the Harappans early on in the game. I actually had a pretty decent army, and they still dowed me. And then they flipped into the Huns and the Mongols. We managed to win those wars, and I pushed south. I killed the Mycenaeans down here. This was like the Romans. They were doing pretty solid. They'd conquered like this entire strip here and up the coast. Egypt was here. They got vassalized by Rome. This was the Nubians, I think, and they kind of got stuck in the middle and couldn't expand. The yellow team up here got vassalized by the Huns, and then there was the brown team which was playing as the Ghanaians or something. I can't really remember, but they owned this selection of territory here, Napata, Kerma, and Akkad, and this bit. This bit actually got conquered by yellow, but that was really late in the game. Yeah, it was a good run, really good run. One faith, one culture, tech. I found I was so my tip is to just take inherited. If you're gonna play wide, that's like my big tip for the day. Is if you're playing tall, communal land, if you're playing wide, inherited land, and there is no variation there. If you're playing wide and you expect to go well over your city limit due to warfare, you have to have inherited land. If you're going tall, you could take either. You could take either. There's nothing stopping you. But this would be better because it will allow your cities to get that much larger. It's like every territory you attach is like an extra +1 population, so it does add up pretty fast. Yeah, so I feel like investing in science, if you're going to play very heavy on warfare, investing in science really was not very useful for me. If anything, what could have sped up the process of conquering things would not have been building science districts. It would have been building market districts. I'm actually making 3.5k from cities, but I'm spending 1.6k on army upkeep. Armies get very once you hit the medieval period, armies start getting very expensive to have very large forces moving around the map. And I don't even have a fleet. If I had a fleet as well, that would also be an extra expense. So I'm honestly, and it wasn't just in the early modern era. Like, I haven't collected all of my styles, but I finished the techs. I did that in both the classical and in the medieval era as well. I capped out my tech in each of my eras before getting all of my stars. I think in the classical era I was having capped my tech out for like 10+ turns. It was bad. So I really overinvested in technology. And a lot of people say, well, you could just age up. Yeah, but you don't get high scores if you just age up, you know. So and the other side of going for gold would be obviously you can rush out buildings and stuff faster, which is gonna absolutely. Now, rushing out with gold isn't as OP as it was in previous dev versions. It's actually a lot better now. I don't really have any issues with it as it stands, though I haven't played like a huge, incredibly money-focused game, so maybe it does end up being busted, but I haven't played a game to test that specifically. But yeah, I think definitely investing in market quarters is a better idea than investing in science. A lot of people are going to be like, that's mad. But in single player, I truly believe that is actually the best way about it. At least on the higher difficulties. If you're playing militaristically, if you're playing tall, you might have to invest in science to be able to keep up, because you're not. Because here's the thing: playing wide, playing military, you have the it's not a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged spear, right? Not only are you expanding one end of the spear and increasing your own outputs, but you're also detracting from the AI. Because a double-edged sword is going to cut yourself, right? But a double-edged spear you can stab with both ends, right? So you're boosting yourself in one way, and you're also knocking the AI down a peg. So you don't need to focus on science very much, because you're not going to fall behind. Like, I only got, compared to my first run where I was getting technology osmosis like the entire game for like very large amounts, in this run I got very little osmosis events, and the events I did get were like 15 points of science, which meant that like nobody was really that far ahead of me on science, and a lot of the time I was well ahead of the AI. So for a lot of people thinking they get out-teched by the AI, it might just be because you're not being aggressive enough. I honestly, I truly believe, and I said this in the stream many, many times, I truly believe the key to playing on Humankind difficulty, and I think this will only be further reinforced by more playthroughs and more testing, is that on the Humankind difficulty, you want to play aggressively. You want to play war heavy. And when I mean war heavy, some people go, ah, yeah, I got a couple of stacks of units, I got like 8 units on the board. No. When I talk about war, I'm talking, I was attacking the Huns in the classical era with like 30 immortals. In the classical era, right? You need big armies if you want to power project. But it is absolutely doable. And my biggest takeaway, or my biggest perspective, I mean, that I can give people on how that works is don't get hung up on your population in your cities. Don't get hung up on that. A city will still be productive with 0 population if you build districts, right? And build infrastructure. So don't worry about your population being a small number early on in the game. You can always pick it back up later, right? Early on in the game, troops on the board are worth twice as much as pop in your city. I mean that. Being able to get the territories you want and push the AI back where you want to expand, or even just, you know, making sure that you have a powerful army so that they want to conduct trade and they want to ally you, which is also equally important. It's a big deal. It's a big deal making sure you've got a powerful army. So yeah, that's my tips and tricks of today. Hopefully that's helpful for you guys. As always, link to my Twitch in the description. You can check that out if you want to check live gameplay, or check the VODs if, you know, time zone prevents, as it does for a lot of people. You're always welcome to ask me questions in the comments or on my Discord. There should be a link to my Discord on the About page of YouTube. I think there's a Twitch link there as well. Or you can just leave a comment and I'll get back to you when I can. All right, guys. Thank you for watching up to this point. Hope it helps. I hope this gives you a little bit of perspective, a little bit of inspiration. You know, I was by no means as optimal as you can be, or as aggressive, or as developed as you could be at this stage of the game. So, go out, ye ambitious, defeat my high score. At least, you know. Not my high score, but I mean 12k, turn 159, large map, otherwise completely random, random climate, random cliffs, random, all the other map settings random. It's just large, 8 players, 2 to 4 continents. See how you go, yeah? Alright guys, it's been me, Chef Commander Coffee, and until next time, take it easy, have a good one, and I'll see you around. Goodbye for now.